Okay.
Okay.
So for the mentorship part, I created a news and stock price analyzer with my group of three. Um, so the main problem here that we would try to address is that most investors make decisions on headlines or without a deep understanding of like what the stock actually does or like how their outcomes affect the valuation of the stock. So, and then manually sifting through countless articles and correlating them to like if the stock is going up or down is time consuming and is also prone to bias based on like how the articles are phrased. And the main problems that we wanted to address is information overload. So too much news and like little time to actually analyze and get results from it. Emotional decisions. So like if you're passionate about a certain company, then you're more likely to invest in it rather than if something that you don't like a company or what they do. And then also a lack of context. So it's hard to get a full view of what a company's doing or what they're achieving based on maybe one article or two articles. And our solution is basically automatically connects and processes the latest market news. So I think ours specifically had 10 articles. I think you can easily make it more. It just takes longer for our web scraping or the scraping tool that we use to gain more or to like scrape manually more articles. I think it's like one every like zero point 0.4 milliseconds or zero point 0.4 seconds like that. So it'll take longer, but you can obviously add more articles. And then we also used LLM to evaluate what like the information that we scraped from those articles and then and then compared it to the relevance against the actual stock price. So basically our solutions to the problems in these are automated news collection rather than manually sifting through news, and then intelligent extraction. So we're also using AI to like process and analyze that information, and then also the LLM powered analysis. So basically, this is our AML stack. So on the front end, there's a tool called Streamlit. Once I do the demo, it'll be more clear as to what that does, but it's just like framing the actual code into like a web app kind of thing. So it's like more easily accessible. And then the back end is Python. So we have news.py. That's the Python file that I used for the actual code. And then the LLM that we used, I think these two tools were provided by the mentors. So like it's stuff that they recommended to us. And then LLM was Grok. So the GPT 120B, I think that's like the most new gen GPT. So it's like prevalent right now. And we use that to analyze the information that we got from the articles. And then we use DuckDuckGo's news API to get access to the articles. And then market data was from like many popular finance websites, accredited finance websites like Yahoo Finance, etc. And then the tool that we used to actually scrape these articles was called Trafalatura. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's very efficient and it works well. So overall, this combination ensures high performance and accuracy. Continuing on, our we basically have to intelligently search real-time news sources using the DuckDuckGo API that I mentioned earlier. So to ensure the highest quality and accessibility of this information, there was a lot of things that we had to like hard code into the so we made sure we had the best information. So like some websites are paywalled, some websites have preventions against scraping tools, so we had to manually filter those out before we started searching, or else it would like iterate and iterate on websites that don't work and we won't get quality of information. So so we would have to use real-time search, which is the DuckDuckGo API, to get the most recent news. And then obviously get rid of duplicates. So we make sure we have the most amount of information that we can get from those 10 websites. And then there's some websites that are known for having paywalls or like prompts. So the first page that you enter once you access the websites won't be the actual information, but rather like a prompt to sign up for a newsletter. And then obviously more broader coverage. So it gathers news from a variety of sources rather than just one website that might be subject to bias. And then we also used adaptive article crawling. We use a tool called Trafalatura, like I mentioned earlier, which is an advanced content extraction tool. And then these links, we received the clean article text. So we stripped away a relevant web element. So it would just leave us with the actual text so the LLM could process it efficiently. So then we get the most pure and true information from what the article is providing. And then moving on to our actual pipeline, we used the stock information that we're gaining from these websites uh, to get like basic outline information on the stock, like its latest closing price, its ticker, its immediate snapshot of the current value, like graphs and data. And then additionally, like 6 months of historical data. So I think you'll see all that once I demonstrate the website or the web app, but it's like it gains all like general information so that the user can actually understand the stock as you're gaining the LLM analysis. So you can cross-check that. And then there's also its latest closing price or yeah, these three things. There's a lot of information you'll see. I think it's more than these three. And then obviously we have our analysis. So it's what we actually provide other than just like the graphs that are publicly available. So we have an AI that is like tasked with being a sophisticated financial analyst, which provides objective assessment rather than biased based on news titles or anything else like that, like I mentioned in the problem statement slide. So first, our AI analyst uh, provides a sentiment classification. So whether it's positive, negative, or neutral. So what you should invest, should not invest, or maybe just hold. And then a price justification. So it gives why it has that sentiment. So it logically provides like a short excerpt of why it thinks it's that based on the information that it got. And then actionable insight. So it tells you if you should invest or not. And then we have our workflow. So this is like a good diagram from the internet, but this is not actually what it looks like. Actually, it's pretty similar, but there's the graphs and it's like easily intuitive. So first you enter a ticker to uh the stock ticker that you want, and then it fetches the price, it discovers news for that ticker, and then gives you the analysis, and then it displays it on the website in a seamless manner. And now for some use cases and then the dashboard itself. So the dashboard is like a comprehensive view of market dynamics. So it's not just one specific stock. The actual AI analysis happens when you input a stock ticker, but on the main page of the website, it's just market dashboard. So like general market trends or stuff like that you can view on easily comprehensible graphs. So like trading volumes, momentum indicators, and like comparative analysis over the major stocks that we have like available in the website. And then, yeah, so we would have investment research. You can track sentiment, and then it's like for educational and comprehensive purposes as well. I think that's all for the presentation for 10 slides. Do you see this?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
properly
so
visible.
this
Oh,
is like, okay. So this is like the Streamlit dashboard. So as you can see here, it's hosted by Streamlit. So this like web like access, like if you can tell, I don't know if you can see the whole screen. Can you see like the
yeah.
browser at the top? Like, can you see what I'm highlighting right now?
No, I am not able to
Oh,
see the
I think
browser.
I think I'm sharing only the window. Let me show you the whole screen.
Yeah.
Do you see this? Do you see like the top over here?
Not yet.
Uh, sorry, give me 1 second. Entire
Okay,
screen.
while you are figuring it out, I just also want to know that I am just more curious. At what age you started learning technologies, AI, and programming?
As an introduction to computers as a whole, I mean, my elementary school did a good job of introducing kids to technology early. Like my elementary and middle school, it was like combined, but they were more design focused or future focused. So it was like we had more technology intensive projects or schoolwork. So as computers as a whole there, but where my interest sprouted was when I started the Cyber Patriot competition from back there. So like something like, or it was more hands on where like I was delving into like the core of the computer rather than just like using it. So that like actually sprouted my interest for coding or maybe scripting or like creating stuff with the computer rather than just using it.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
Can you just yeah, can you just close the pop-up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah,
here
now
you can
it's
see that it's a web app, so it's hosted by Streamlit, so that's what makes this possible. So I think it was like it did a good job of creating like HTML like usable kind of things from just the Python code that it was provided. So it like formatted it like this. Like that's it like provided as a web app. So this is like you can put this link into any website and you'll like get to the web app. So it like hosts it. And then if as you can see here, this is the dashboard page. So it has a lot of analytics on all the stocks that we have. So I think for now we only have Apple, AMD, Amazon, Google, Intel, Meta, Microsoft, Netflix, Nvidia, and Tesla. So we only have those like major stocks, technology stocks. So basically, it has like a lot of analytics. So you can see that on October 1st, 2025, Meta had a value of $726 and for like that big decimal. So it's like really accurate market data. So you can see that for any of these stocks that we have provided here. So there's something called there's like price trends, there's trading volume, there's latest closing prices for all these stocks. There's a 7-day change, so if it was positive or negative. And then there's also like specific comparisons that people make, like in general, like people often compare Apple and Microsoft. So that's like an easily accessible comparison of the valuations. And then there's like Nvidia is like a more popular stock these days. So there's Nvidia's momentum, there's Tesla volatility, the daily volume, meta. So it's just like general information that most people like to have before analyzing these specific stocks. And then onto like the actual AML part. So if you have like a stock ticker, let's say not one of these that I've already done, let's say Google, right? Then it'll analyze. So first it'll give you the current price, and then it'll load the first 10 links from the DuckDuckGo API, the stock crawler. And then this is like the actual stock crawler. So sometimes there are stocks that block or there are websites that block. I think you want me to show you the code, right? Afterward?
no, no, we will just look at that
Oh,
afterwards.
okay. But there were specific websites, like I said in the presentation, that directly had like crawler prevention. So some of those had to be directly blocked as like a whole domain. But some things like in this one, like a few of the MSN websites got blocked, but one of the MSN websites went through. So like sometimes MSN works, sometimes it doesn't. That's why it's still like allowed. But there's 5 websites that got blocked and 5 that got through. So you have information from 5 websites to make this evaluation. So then, so for the evaluation, like I said, it provides a sentiment. So for Google, the sentiment is negative. So the stock fell 5% despite the earnings. So despite their progress, the stock still fell. So you shouldn't invest. Um, Adding on, I said it gives you like a background of what they're actually talking about. So there's a capex hike. It's like 180 billion raises executed margin consensus. It's all like specific, so you can actually understand what the sentiment came from. And then the actual insight would be to hold the position and then consider adding on the dip if you're comfortable with high risk. So it tells you what you should do. And obviously, this is you shouldn't judge your investment choices based on what this says, but it's like a reasonable, like highly reasonable and logical way to base your judgments. And then onto that, there are more specific trends. So this is price trends, trading volume. It provides the same information, but along with uh so once you input the stock, it shows like the articles and then the AI evaluation.